Hey YouTube, what's happening? Chris here. Want to bring you a quick update on Bitcoin. Going to run through a few things that I'm seeing right now, and I just wanted to bring them to you. Right now we're at $5,226, and we're up 0.61%. So we're running into some key areas of overhead resistance right here, guys. And what I'm going to do, we're going to go back and I'm going to show you some history just so you can be prepared in case we do end up going to the downside just a little bit. Right now on the one-day chart, we have not closed yet for the day. The close will be at around 8 o'clock Eastern time. So guys, what we're seeing here is we have a rejection where we went all the way up here and we wicked. That was a very strong profit taking area right there. So there's a lot of profits that were being taken. Then we pushed up higher, and what you see here, we tried to get a little bit more out of it, but we got to this same height where profit was being taken, and now we're getting pushed back down a little bit, and that's at the 0.618 at $5,249 from this high to that low. And if you look back through a lot of the parts on the chart, whenever we've gotten to this, and I'll show you some examples, whenever we've gotten to this 0.618, a lot of times we have had a sell-off. So I want you to be aware of that. Am I saying that we're going to sell off today? I'm not going to say that, guys, but we're running into this 0.618. So what we're doing is just adding up bearish things, adding up bullish things. So this would definitely be, okay, we're running into this 0.618. There's been a lot of profit taking there before for that retracement. So that's an area. We also could add these potential tweezer tops. We're going to have to see where it closes today. Right now it's 2:26 p.m. Eastern time right now, so there's still a lot of time throughout the day for this to continue to move up if it wants to move up or change. So we have that, guys. We have the tweezer tops. We have the 0.618 where you can see that profit was being taken, and now we're below that right now. Also, our one-day RSI is at 87, so we're very overextended. Remember, 70 is that overbought territory, 70 and above in traditional charting. Now, cryptocurrency isn't traditional charting. You can get up to 94, 95, 96. It can happen, but I would not be going long in this situation right now with an 87 RSI on the one day and some of the things that I'm seeing, the 0.618. I would be patient and wait to see what it does. But that's just me. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not one to chase a move and try to say, hey, you know, I'm seeing some of these things that are bearish right now. Could it go higher? Yes. And it could go all the way up to this area right here, guys, around that 58.32. I don't think we're going to get through 6,000 though unless we have a very nice pullback. We're going to need one of those nice retracements, and I want to see us truthfully find volume, heavy volume off the 200-day moving average. I would love to see us back test that, find very nice volume, something that looks like this, come off of that, and I think that could be a really great sign. So on the bearish side, we have the tweezer tops being put in right now. We have the doji candle, which is that indecision back and forth. But as you can see here, we had a doji back here, and then we made a higher move. But we're having that again. So doji, indecision, tweezer tops. We're also running this 0.618, which we've been at many times, and we have an overextended RSI on the one day. So those are some of the bearish things that I'm seeing. Bullish things that I'm seeing that I'm excited about is we have a potential golden cross here, guys, of our 20 EMA up above this 200-day moving average. So that's looking like it does want to cross up above that. So that's going to be a nice strong thing if we do follow through with that. We also have support of the 200-day moving average right now. We have supported the 20 EMA. We have supported the 50 moving average, and I'm sure the 100, which I don't have up right now, we're up above. So we've hit some very critical areas of resistance and just blasted through them and just kept moving higher and higher and higher. So I am very excited about where we're at with the moving averages. That's great. The volume's looking good. Those things are looking really good on the bullish side. Now, the reason why I say this, and I want you to just be aware, we're going to back test this now. So I was saying the 0.618, and some of you probably saw this in my last video about Bitcoin that we were doing. So what we were looking at, we would take our fib retracement. So we had this big massive fall here, right? And we had an atom bottom. So we blasted back up. Is that V-shaped? All right, so an atom bottom is basically like a one candle reversal, and that's essentially what we had right here, real sharp. And then we came up to this area right in here. So I'm going to take this from the top of that reaction, and I'm going to bring it down right into this area. Now, guys, do you see how we fell? And then we came back up to this 0.618 right there, and then we fell back again. Okay, so that's one. We're going to do another one here. So this is why I'm looking at that 0.618 with a lot of caution right now. It's not a bad thing even to be in cash if you took some profits from that move and you're just sitting back waiting to see what happens. Look at this, guys. Do you see this? So that fall, here's our reaction, 0.618. Let's test another one. This little one I have not done yet, so we're going to see. Doing it right here with you. Alright, so we had tweezer tops up there. We pull it down right into there. Guys, 0.618. So these are the things that I like to do. I like to go back through and say, alright, so now we're going to take this one here, and we're going to see if history repeats itself. Is it going to repeat itself? I don't know. But it's definitely something that I want to look at and say, all right, this has happened, so I'm going to pay close attention to it. So right there, guys, and you can see we're wicking up to that 0.618. Now, am I saying we're going to have a full retracement like this? I'm not telling you that, okay? But we're definitely due for some type of retracement. We need a cooling off period. Markets can only go up for so long without a breathing period, and they can only go down so long without a breathing period. And that's why, you see this move here to the downside, and then boom, the reaction came in. Move to the downside, reaction came in. So even right now we had that move to the downside. Our reaction came into this 0.618. Now let's see if we will have a retracement down under this 200-day moving average, which would also be around this 0.382, which would be an amazing spot to see volume come in. And then we challenge that $6,000, because guys, we're going to need a lot of strength to get through this. Look how long this whole area here, we were getting down to that 6,000, then we get bought up. So this is heavy overhead resistance. And I'm going to put this line here for you so you can see right there. And you can see we're running into it. So in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, doesn't it make much more sense that we would have a retracement somewhere back, maybe even to this 200-day moving average, back test that again and see if that can be our higher low before we try to get up through all this chunky resistance right here? Because this move is already overextended, and look where our RSI is at. So how can you get from here all the way up to 6,000 and then break through it without some type of relaxation or exhaustion from the market, especially when this is massive overhead resistance? I promise you there's a lot of bears who are sitting around $5,800 to $6,000, and they're saying, you know what, if it gets to this point, I'm going to be opening some shorts. All right, I'm warning you. That's something that you do want to pay close attention to. I'm not saying that's going to happen right now, but once we start to get around this area, and if you actually open up the shorts for Bitcoin right now, I do believe that they've been going down. So that's a good thing. That means that we could move potentially a little bit higher, but I like to factor in things, guys, like the volume. I like to factor in moving averages. I like to factor in the RSI, golden crosses, death crosses. I like to look at candles, wicks. Those are the things that I really pay very close attention to. Okay, so now let's go back in, and what we're going to do now, we're actually going to go through the time frames. So this is the 1 hour, or I'm sorry, the 1 day, which we're having that doji right here. So now we'll go to 12 hours and see if we can get a little clue as to what's happening. So on the 12 hours, you can see it's actually wanting a little bit more here. So we're going to see, here's our 2 wicks. And then on the 12 hour, we're going to see where we close. If we close up above, and maybe we can come up here and try to challenge this area, maybe right in here. Challenge that and see what happens with it. So maybe get pushed up a little bit higher. Now, let's go to the 8 hour, see if things are changing. So this is what I do, guys, and I'll just examine candles. So right now, on the 8 hour, this is looking like a shooting star candle. This is looking like a hanging man candle. And then we're having a little short day candle here in terms to the downside. So we're going to have to pay attention to that, or we're going to come back and back test this 20-day EMA, which would be a great spot to see if we could get a bounce off that. Whenever we gap away from it, we always tend to pull back onto it, guys, and we can back test that. Even if you start looking back through these things, whenever you catch air, do you see how you catch air here? You came back onto it or even through it. And that happens to the downside as well as the upside. One moment, guys. I apologize. So we're on the 8 hour right there, and now what we're seeing are these candles taking place. Okay, so this here, this is a rickshaw man candle, which is interesting to see. A lot of fight back and forth, a lot of volatility between the bulls and the bears there. Now let's go to the 4 hour. 4 hours still just chopping along here. We're having dojis up in there. We look like we had a doji, and then we had some bearish confirmation there, but the bulls tried again, and now we're going to have to see what's going on. But you can see we kind of came back to that 20 EMA, which we do use as a lot of support. I've noticed that in cryptocurrency. I think that's one of the most powerful moving averages there is. So, you know, guys, in this, am I saying that we're not going to go higher for sure? Absolutely not. Anything can happen in this space. As you know, a whale can come in and we can move up and we can try to test that 5,800, but we do at some point need some type of breathing or cooling down in the market. You know, even on the 4 hour, if we pull this, guys, we have not even broken through this 0.236 right now. And if we got to bounce off that and continue to move higher, I mean, that's extremely bullish. But what would be healthy is more of that pullback down into this area. But we're going to have to see. And that's where patience is the key. You really always want to be patient. Don't go off my calls, or not my calls, but my observation of the market or someone else's observation of the market. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to learn these things on your own and say, okay, well, this guy brought this point up, and that's good about, in a bull market, or this guy brought this, RSI's overextended, and start putting them all together and say, hey, you know what makes the most sense for me? Make sure you have a very good risk to reward management around at least that 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1. Those are the things that you want to look for, and basically say, where I'm going to put my stop loss, I'm risking 1 to potentially gain 3 times. And that's how the game's played. Risk to reward management is something that's very important in this game, and not a lot of people really pay attention to it or do their due diligence and study on it. And also, a lot of people like to go all in on one move. They could say, okay, wow, this looks, we have tweezer tops here, our RSI is overextended. I'm going to open a short right here, and I'm basically going to go all in on that one spot. You don't want to do that, guys. Really, I promise you, this market's way too volatile. Anything can happen. You can have a blast up to the upside, or you could have that blast to the downside. But you got to be cautious. You got to be safe, and don't use your whole account. A lot of the books I say even starts with 3% of your entire account, or 1% play that. But guys, even 10% or whatever, do 10% of your entire portfolio there, or 5% on a trade, and see where you're at, and also layer into it. If you're going long, slowly, if it's dropping still a little bit and you're confident in it that it's going to move higher in the long run, there you go. Start layering in. It's called laddering. Do some researching about laddering and layering. You can really save yourself some money doing that. So, guys, don't forget your stop losses. It's very important. But I just wanted to give you a quick update on Bitcoin right now. We're at 52.12. We're going to have to see what happens. Can we move higher to the upside? Absolutely. But we're overextended on the bearish side as well, to where you're looking at that RSI at 87 on the 1 day. We're due for a little bit of a bearish move at some point. So that's just my opinion, guys. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Like, subscribe if you like what we do here, and I'll try to get out maybe an Ethereum video later today. I would hope to do that, or maybe Litecoin or something if I find the time, guys. So take care, my friends.